This video is a complete guide on how to set up your own cold email outreach system from scratch. There are 3 parts to this guide. In part 1, we're going to go over what kind of domains you should be buying and what kind of Microsoft 365 accounts you should be getting. Then in part 2, we're going to set up your domains with your Microsoft 365 accounts step by step and create your outreach emails. And in part 3, we're going to set up your emails with smartly.ai and do all the final steps necessary to have your cold email outreach system up and running. Also, if you want to download the step-by-step guide and the checklist that I use in the video, click the link in the description below. All right, now let's dive into part 1. All right, so this is part 1 of our cold email outreach setup tutorial. In this part, what we're going to do is we're going to buy 5 domains and 5 licenses for Microsoft Office. So as of right now in 2024, it's May 2024 right now, the best email service provider for cold emails specifically is Microsoft Outlook. So that's the one that I'm going to use here. And as you can see on the screen right now, the main thing that I personally use to buy all my domains is Namecheap, but it really doesn't matter where you get your domains from. The only thing I would add is that you need to have the ability to edit your DNS records. Now, I'm just saying that in case that there are some hosting providers that don't allow you to do that. I personally have never encountered that, but just letting you know that that's an important component in case it's something that becomes an issue later down the line. So just make sure you're able to edit the DNS records. So in terms of domains, we want domains that end in .com. The reason we want .com domains is because they basically have the highest reputation and they're the most trustworthy. Now there's a whole bunch of domains that you can buy and they're usually pretty cheap. Like for example, take a look at this. If I just go with my regular domain, Abhichand, I just search that up. Now you're gonna see .ca. Okay, .ca is the Canadian one, so that's actually pretty good. But .bot, .net, .ai is good, but it's pretty expensive. But then we have .me, game, dev, XYZ, info, live, life. They pretty much, you don't want any of these. You know, aside from stuff that's like SO, for example, is a bit trusted. You know, .ai, .io is also trusted. But there's so many of these 400 additional extensions. And they usually sell them for pretty cheap, sometimes a couple dollars, like .life. And when was the last time you received an email from something .life and you thought it was legit? You know what I mean? So just off the bat, we just don't even want to entertain any of these. Pretty much what we want is, you know, I'll just type it right now. It's already taken. I registered it. I don't know why it's telling me to make an offer to myself. If you see my domain, so mine are, for example, abhichandconsulting.com, abhichandcoursemarketer.com, abhichandformarketing.com, abhichandmarketer.com. You know what I mean? Like it's basically me and marketing. You basically want domains like these. So in my case, all of them are marketing oriented because that's what I do. But for whatever your service is, whatever you do, you know, paultheplumber.com, Paul is the best plumber.com, Paul your local plumber.com, trust Paul with your plumbing.com. You know what I mean? If your name is Paul and you do plumbing, you're in for luck because I gave you all the ideas. So basically that's what you want to do. That's the first step here. Gather 5 domains, minimum 5 domains, and then just buy them. Buy them for the whole yearly thing. To be fair, you can only buy it at 1 year at a time. So just buy 5 domains. And once you have those, now we move on to our Microsoft Office licenses. Oh, and just before we buy the Microsoft Office licenses, ultimately what we want as our emails is stuff like your first name at the domain that we buy.com. So for example, what I showed you here, abhichandconsulting.com. So the email that I use to do my outreach is abhi@abhichandconsulting.com and abhi@abhichandcoursemarketer.com, abhi@abhichandformarketing.com. You see what I mean? Like first name at yourdomain.com. Just wanted to let you know that. All right, so now that we have our domains ready and we've bought them, now it's time to buy our Microsoft licenses. So to do that, basically go here. I just went to Microsoft.com. In my case, I'm in Canada, so it pulls up the Canadian page. Click on Microsoft 365, and from here, see plans and pricing. Opens a new tab. Click for business if it's not picked already. And business basic is the one that we want. So just click on buy now. They keep changing how you can access their pricing. So for example, in this case, they didn't show me, they're saying it's $8.10, but at an annual subscription, right? But when you click buy now and it takes you to the checkout page, Now you can see that they have 1 month over here, the monthly option. So how many people is this for? Choose the number of users, subscription length, and billing term you prefer. In our case, if we have 5 domains, however many number of domains that you have, that's the number of licenses you want to buy. So just pick, in our case, it'll be 5, pick the monthly option, go next, and complete the payment process. Now, another thing you can do if you want, you can just buy one license up front and then buy the rest later. So I'll show you how to do that right now quickly. Microsoft.com. I want to find the login actually. Microsoft.com login. Microsoft. Oh, it's office.com login. Okay, so that's you probably saw all the accounts that I have at this point. All right, so there's another thing they do with this authenticator. You gotta authenticate. So let's just quickly do that right now. All right, verify. Sure, yeah, keep me signed in. What I'm showing you here is if you buy only one license and you want to buy more later. So the way to do that is you log into your Microsoft Office account. The first time you log in, there'll probably be a few things, the initial guide, the get started stuff, the little quick tour thing. Once you're out of that, click on admin over here. Go to billing, click on purchase services, and over here in the far right, click on buy more licenses. So in my case, I have 10, however many more you need, you can just up it here, and that's the end of that, and we're happy. So that's how you buy licenses. You can buy them all in one go, at the beginning, the way I showed you over here, when you go from buy now to the checkout page. Okay, so this is showing a different page because I'm logged in right now. Yeah, or you can buy one license first and buy the rest later in the billing purchase services page over here. So yeah, that's really it for part 1 of this video. All we had to do right now is we had to buy our 5 domains and buy 5 Microsoft licenses. Now in the next part of this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to actually set all of this up. So go ahead, buy your domains, buy your licenses, and I'll see you in the next part where we set up the emails that we're going to use in your cold email outreach system. Okay, so in this section, what we're gonna do is we're gonna add the domains we just bought to our Microsoft 365 accounts. Just as a checklist, by now you should have bought your domains, also bought the Microsoft 365 licenses that you need. You need one license per domain. So depending on how many domains you wanna set up, buy that many licenses and obviously buy that many domains. Now that we wanna add our domain to be able to use it for our cold emailing purposes, what we want to do is log into our Microsoft Office account, the one that we just bought, office.com. Just log in here. Once you're in, click on admin. So admin opens up. And when you're at the top here, type domain in the search box, go to domains. And now you'll see I have 3 domains here actually. One of them is a default one, but the default one we don't want to use. So let's click on add domain. And copy, I've already copied mine, but copy the domain you want to add into this. Click use domain. Now it's going to ask us to verify that we own the domain. So just use the default value. You need to access your DNS records. So I'll show you how to do that right now. Now, okay, so here we are. Microsoft is asking us to create a text record, TXT record, in the DNS records for our domain. So that's a lot of technical mumbo jumbo, but it's really easy to get through. I'll show you how. Go to your Namecheap or wherever your hosting is. Go to whatever you have go to your domain list and then pick the domain that you're adding right now. So in my case, I can either select from the entire list or I can just paste it there. Click manage and advanced DNS. Now we want to mess around with the DNS settings. So the first thing you want to do is turn this off because that default record will cause some problems. We'll change that later. So step 1, we got to create the text record. So I'm clicking here under host records. I clicked add new record and I'm going to create a text record. Host is that, text value, paste, and it's 1 hour. Microsoft usually asks for 3600 seconds or 1 hour. So we click that there. All right, that's saved. Now, usually this takes some time. Sometimes it can be quite instantaneous. Just click verify. Let's see what it says. Perfect. So it believes us that this is our domain. So now what you want to do is click continue here, and we're going to add more DNS records to finish the setup. So there are these 3 DNS records that are required for emailing, and there's more I'll show you right now. But first, let's start with this one. So MX record, the host name is just an @, so I'm just going to copy the address or value here. Now remember I told you to turn that off earlier. So now we go under mail settings, pick custom MX. Host is an @, mail server is that, priority is 0, let's just confirm, and TTL is 1 hour, perfect, which is 60 minutes. So save changes there. Now we want to add the CNAME record, auto discover CNAME record, so that's still adding. Let's go back up here, add new record, CNAME, auto discover, and yeah, the value TTL is 1 hour. It's always 1 hour, so I'm just going to pick that by default. All right, and the third record is this text record, @, so I'm just going to copy the value. Add new record, text record, @, this, and 60 minutes. Save. All right, so all of our DNS records should be saved now. Let's go back, and now we click on advanced. So we want to click on domain keys identified mail, DKIM. It's basically some kind of security thing that, yeah, it encrypts your emails with a signature within every outbound message header. Great, you know, better security, long and short of it. So we want to create 2 CNAME records for that. Just going to do that right now. Copy the host name, go back, add new record, add a CNAME record, selector 1, the value, paste there. The time is always 60 minutes. Yep. Selector 2, add new record, CNAME, selector 2, then selector 2, the value, 60 minutes, save all changes. That adds both of my DKIM records. So now we've added 5 in total, the 3 that it asked us to do initially, and then the 2 CNAME records for DKIM keys. Hit continue. This might take a little while. It just takes a few seconds, really. That's what a while is here. And it should... Okay, so the first 3 it was able to find. And honestly, this is really fast. This usually takes at least 10-15 minutes because it happens in the interwebs, in the world out there. So all it's saying is that we didn't detect this record right now. So by the time that I've finished, rambling and just saying random things, if I hit continue, it should be up and running now. But if not, you can just you can check it after like 15 minutes or so, and usually that's good enough time. Let's see. So it just refreshed the page. Yeah, okay, so domain setup is complete. Perfect. All right, so now that we're done adding all of our domains, now we want to create emails and attach them to each one of these domains. So this is where an email, a Microsoft Office license, and a domain will tie together. So how do we do this? Click on users over here and then click active users. Now you can see that I've created 2 already. At the top left, click add a user. Just enter your name. So in my case, it's this. Display name will show up automatically. Username. Now pick the domain that you're adding. So I'll just confirm which one it is. Mine is this, davidthehighperformancecoach.com. That's the one I'm adding. And sure, automatically create password. Require this user change password. Sure. Click next. Assign a license. Yes, because we already bought them. Leave that by default. Click next. No admin access. We don't want that. And finish adding. Done. So click show. Save this here. So you're going to see my password here, but I'm going to change it right now. Paste that there. I'm just keeping it in my spreadsheet. So now if we scroll down, we can say add another user. Perfect. So we're bulk adding all the users we want. In our case, it's basically the same user just multiple times. Let me check what other I have. All right. So the next one I'm doing is davidhighperformancecoach.com. Perfect. Go next. Assign a license. Next. Yep. Finish adding. Save the password. Perfect. Copy. Just gonna keep it here. Now we've added our domains to Microsoft 365 and created the emails that we're going to use for our cold email outreach. Now the next thing that we want to do, just to wrap up this whole tech setup over here on the Microsoft side, we want to make sure that our DKIM keys are set up correctly. So in the search thing, type, you can see I already searched it, type DKIM and click on that. Security compliance, it will load. Okay, so select one. Oh, it's enabled. Okay, perfect. If I go close, let's see. Just want to confirm that all of them are enabled. This is amazing. All right, perfect. Close that as well. Check this, it's enabled. Okay, perfect. So our DKIM is set up. So at this point, everything we want to set up for our Microsoft accounts is basically done. Now, the next thing that we would want to do is log into each individual account and change the password, as we saw earlier. So that's what I'm going to do, and I'll show you a couple of them as I do them. But then after that, I'm obviously not going to show what password I set and all that stuff, right? So let's go to office.com, go over here, and you can see I have a bunch. Sign in with a different account. Now this is where we grab our username passwords. So the first one was this. Use another account. Next. Grab that password. Sign in. So current password, paste it here, and then the new password, pick whatever password you want. I'm going to use my password. All right, new password, sign in. You can set this up right now as well. Microsoft has their own authenticator app, and you can do it later too. I'm just going to do it later. So there we have it. Our brand new account, in our case, this was David at unbrokenpursuitmastery.com. This is the brand new account. Close out of that. So this account is set up. So just like how you saw me do it right now, to change the password, log into all of your accounts, change their passwords, and then I'll show you one policy that we need to enable as well. Once you set up all your accounts, one more thing that we need to do is set up our email forwarding. So that way we don't have to log into each individual email, one by one to see if we got a message. So what we do is we go back to our active users section. So we go under users, active users, click on the first user, and under mail, manage email forwarding down here, forward all emails to this inbox, and write the main email that you want everything to go to. So in my case, that it's David at unbrokenpursuitcoach.com. So I'm just going to copy that. You can keep a copy of the forwarded email in this mailbox. That's fine too. Save changes. Okay, so that's added. Now all the emails that come to this email will be forwarded to this one email that we have here. Okay, now that we have all of our emails set up and all of our accounts set up, so the last thing we want to do is add an anti-spam outbound policy that allows us to forward emails from our domains to an external domain. So what that means is if we want to receive emails or forward our emails that we get to our Outlook accounts, forward them to like our Gmail or personal email or whatever, the way we do it is go under search, click on type in anti-spam. Click that, anti-spam policies. We need to create this policy. So under anti-spam, go to outbound. Let's just say custom outbound policy. Perfect, it's already there. Next, pick all of your users. So let's go, because you want to apply this to basically everyone. And pick all of your domains. Domains. I'm not picking the one that was by default there. All right. Next, now leave all of this as it is. Change the forwarding rule to on forwarding is enabled. Press next, create. That should do the trick. Perfect, done. That's created priority 0, perfect. If we go back to our admin center and go to click show all, users, active users. So now what we could do is, let's say for this email, we can go to mail, manage email forwarding, and over here we can actually write something like, david@gmail.com, and it's gonna work. So that's what that anti-spam policy lets us do. So we have set up all of our accounts, our Microsoft accounts, added all the domains, created each individual email account. We've logged in, changed the password, and also we set up an external forwarding anti-spam policy, which allows us to forward our emails to basically wherever we want. So this section is complete. If you have any questions, drop them below. Otherwise, we'll move on to the next part of this tutorial. All right, so far we've set up all of our Microsoft accounts, we set up our domains and have our emails ready. Now the next step, the next thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna set all these accounts up in SmartLead. That's the choice of software that I'm going with. You can use Instantly as well. Both of them are, practically just as good, but SmartLead is the one I use, so that's the one I'm gonna show you how to set them up, set up your email accounts on. Log into SmartLead, I'm logged in here. Now we go to email accounts, and let's see, click on Outlook. You can bulk update here as well, but I'm just going to do them one by one. I'm going to click Outlook. It opens the little things. So let's see. Okay, I'm just going to pick each one of my emails. Yes, consent, accept. And that should be that. Should be as easy as that. For the time being, let's just click save and leave everything how it is. I'm going to add the rest of the 4 emails here, and then we're going to update all the settings for warm-ups and whatnot. So let me just go ahead and do that. All right, so now that we have all of our emails set up in SmartLead, now we want to just update all the settings. So select all of them to select all, click on bulk update under general. So message per day, set that as 30. That's going to be the limit. This is warm-ups not included. We're going to be sending 20 warm-ups a day, so that makes it 50 messages per day, and that's as much as you should be sending, no more than that. Minimum time gap, 5 minutes, and this custom tracking domain, we're going to work on this, but we have to do this individually. I'll show you later why, but leave that for now. Oh, whoops, this should just be 5. Awesome. Now click on warm-up. Yes, bulk update, active. Total number of warm-up emails per day. Maximum number of warm-up emails that could be sent via this email account per day. So that should be 20. Bulk update, daily ramp up. Yes. A ramp up increment value. Sure, we can just leave it at 5. Randomized number of emails per day. So make this between 1 and 20. Reply rate 45. That's what I use. It doesn't really matter. You can put 30 to 45. That should be a healthy range. And custom warm-up identifier tag. So let's just say SmartLead warm-up. Yeah, just keep this enabled. I completely forgot what this setting does, but at some point I did study it. But enable this, and the custom warm-up identifier tag, like it says here as well. So this text will be injected into the body of the warm-up, and it will be 2 5-letter words. Example, apple dash juice. Yeah. So this way we can create rules in our inbox that look for this exact tag or this exact keyword, and it would move it to a separate folder away from our inbox so it doesn't clutter it up. All right, so that's the settings here for warm-up. And under management, let's see. Under management, I just add SmartLead warm-up as a tag. You don't really need to do this. You can leave it as it is, but those are the settings that I recommend. So now that we can see that the daily limit is set to 30, all the accounts have warm-up enabled, and the current reputation is NA, which is understandable because we literally just started it, right? So let's click on one of these, and okay. SmartLead itself says that, SmartLead recommends that you warm up your emails for a minimum 2-week period. I personally do 28 days. So I do, yeah, 4 weeks, because I think 2 weeks is way too low, especially if you want to use your cold outreach system for a long time. So let it run for a full 28 days. If we look over here, so let's see, in our add emails to Smartly, we did that. Enable warm-ups, we did that. Custom tracking domains, we're going to add that right now. And warm up for 28 days. So I just wrote today's date here and on the side. So on the 29th of May is basically when my warm up would be complete. So that's when I would start using my emails again. All right, so let's go back here. And the last thing we want to do is set up a custom tracking domain. So for this, we need to add a CNAME record. So if you remember how we did that. Oh, by the way, I made a video around how to warm up cold email accounts, best practices. I'll link it in the description as well, but I basically covered everything. But in that video, I go in a bit more detail. Okay, so I'm currently locked out of the specific Namecheap account that I needed to set it up for the other Smartlead account. I'll just show you mine. So this is my own account. These are all the emails that I have set up. So pretty much once things are running well, this is what it looks like. You know, the daily limit, like I didn't set any emails today. Warm up enabled, yes, and reputation, you know, ideally should be at 100. And to set up the custom tracking domains, this is what they look like. So, you know, for each domain, we go at the bottom and we enable use a custom tracking domain and just write smartlead dot whatever the domain is .com. And let me show you how to add this CNAME in Namecheap. All right, so this is my Namecheap. It looks a bit different. I just have a different tier of Namecheap, but essentially it's the same thing. This is the abhichandconsulting.com is the one that the account or the domain that we're looking at. So if we go under cPanel here, basically what you want to do is add a CNAME record. Add a CNAME record. And over here, it would be called, just copy this over, smartlead dot, domain.com, leave TTL as default. And then, yeah, so I already have it saved here. Finally, what we want to do is grab this as the value, copy, paste, and then just save the record. So if I'm going to save it, it's going to say that it already exists, exactly, because I've already done this. But if I search it here, I'll show you. So this is the CNAME record that I set up. And pretty much for your accounts, you want to go through each one of your emails. So I'll just show you another one. Go to General, enable your custom tracking domain, and then smartlead dot, domain.com. And make sure you add it to your DNS records over here in your Namecheap or your hosting, wherever you have it. And it might take a few minutes to actually update with DNS records. It takes, sometimes it can take a couple minutes to update. So you might have to create the DNS record and go in later and hit check status. But basically when it's working, you'll see a green check right next to Smartlead. So once you do that for all of the rest of your accounts, your warm-ups will be running, your Smartlead would be set up, and at this stage, your entire cold email system is set up. Like, think of it like we just built the oven. Now, for the next 28 days, all the oven is doing is preheating. And that preheating, like, we cannot miss that preheating period. We absolutely need to warm up our email accounts. And once they're warmed up, we will slowly ramp them up to sending 30 emails per day. So in my particular case, I have how many? 9. I have 9 accounts, so 9 times 30. I have the ability to send 270 emails per day. In the other account that I was showing you over here, we have 5. So 5 times 30, we have the ability to send 150 emails per day. All right, so at this point, if we look at our checklist, pretty much everything is done. We have followed all the steps. Now we just need to set up Microsoft Authenticator for each email. Like, I highly recommend that. Actually, they will force you to do that because they only give you 2 weeks grace period to actually set that up. And then add the custom tracking domains. Like, we started this. Unfortunately, I was not able to finish it right now. And then warm up for 28 days. So once this date arrives, what I personally do is I just create reminders in my Apple Reminders app and just put things there. I would set it as, personally, I'd probably do like May 30th because it is like late at night right now. So Actually, let's just do that here. It's 29, extra day to be safe. On May 30th is when I would look to start my outreach campaigns. So that's everything I have for you for the technical setup side of things. There's basically from scratch to completely setting up your cold email system. If you want this checklist and if you want this whole spreadsheet, I have like the tech stack, basically everything you need to be running a cold email marketing system, and how much it costs and whatnot. We have the whole checklist of tech setup, and I have a timeline for pretty much what I anticipate, like on a week by week basis, how many emails we should be sending out, how many campaigns, which campaigns, and what we should be doing, and pretty much the high level plan. If you want a copy of this, like I'll leave a link to go and download this spreadsheet for yourself as well. And if you have any questions or anything, drop them in the comments below and I'll be more than happy to help you out. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this guide and I hope that it was useful for you. One of the main reasons why I created this is because a few months ago when I set up my own cold email outreach system, I couldn't find a step-by-step guide anywhere or tutorial on how to do that. So that's why I wanted to create this. If you have any questions or just general feedback, please drop it in the comments below. And if there's something you're struggling with, I'd love to help you out. And of course, if you enjoyed this video, if you found it useful, if you thought it helped you, please give me a like. That always helps. And I'll see you in the next one.